Welcome to Bob Foulkrod's Hunting Adventure. This week we're going down to New Mexico for the Rocky Mountain elk. There's 3 different species altogether. There's a Roosevelt, the Tule, and this species here, the Rocky Mountain. Then we're going to go for antelope. And if you have ever shared a campfire with me, you know that I'm always picking, fooling, trying to get something up on somebody. I love the laugh and I love the adventure. So I'm not going to go into any more details than just that, but I'm going to tell you what I've been had. Watch the show, you'll laugh along with me.
Victor Chevrolet, Bass Pro Shops, and Alamocitos Ranch present Bob Foulkrod's Hunting Adventures. Seven continents, 80 species, a 5-year quest in the making. High adventure, dangerous game, real-world training tips. This is Bob Foulkrod's Hunting Adventures.
The Rocky Mountain elk is one of America's great conservation success stories. Today, the haunting bugle of the bulls rings across the mountains of the West in places where it's not been heard in a century. Thanks to the efforts of hunters and conservationists in cooperation with state game agencies. Like thousands of other hunters, Redhead Pro Bob Foulkrod has been drawn here to enjoy the splendor of the habitat and the gut-wrenching excitement of mountain hunting. Looks like Bob's sights are dead on. Bob Foulkrod joins outfitter Dan Reyes of Ridgeline Outfitters for a hunt on national forest lands in south-central New Mexico. Dan Reyes is the owner of Ridgeline Outfitters.
Yeah, Bob, this is meadow I've been seeing a real nice bull and some cows coming into this meadow right here. Typically, these elk will come down off the ridges into this meadow and feed all night. You know, they've got a water source that they drink and they feed and just kind of mill around all night down here.
Well, there's a lot of timber for them to hide, that's for sure.
For over 20 years, the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation has worked hard to conserve elk country across North America. In that time, its members and volunteers have succeeded at permanently protecting over 1,000 square miles of the most critical habitat and enhancing another 3.8 million acres. The Elk Foundation has opened 450,000 acres to public access for hunting, fishing, and other recreational uses. However, its job is far from over. In fact, today the risk to elk country is greater than ever. The pressure of commercial and residential development is consuming over 2,500 acres every day. And that's why Bass Pro Shops and other corporate sponsors play a key role in helping the Elk Foundation underwrite the cost of its many events and programs. Bass Pro Shops' longtime partnership with the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation has had a profound impact on the Foundation's conservation efforts. The next day, Bob and Dan hike through some very barren areas.
How come all these trees are cut down like this? I mean, we've been walking through a bunch of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in this country. A lot of areas I've seen, they'll clear cut it and they'll kind of brush pile it and then burn it, you know. But for some reason, this area they've kind of just let them be, you know, let them lay. But it's good for elk because they like these kind of open areas. Even though there's a lot of brush, it's still pretty open and
Lets the grass grow and, you know,
right.
Food for the elk, yeah.
But, you know, also it's good for us, you know, the hunters, because you can glass them, you know, pretty good in these areas. From if you get on opposite ridges, you can really look across and glass them.
Oh man, it puts a lot of holes over there, sure.
Yeah, it sure does.
Oh, good. They sure did a lot of cutting, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
The most valuable lesson to learn from a hunter is patience. Bob and Dan have yet to see a trophy bull, and the sky is clouded up. But they're determined to spot a bull before it rains.
Yeah, there they go. There. We don't want to put too much pressure on it. We can get them tomorrow morning. Nothing else.
Here comes the rain.
You know what I do when it rains? I let it rain.
Let it rain.
Have coffee, sit around the modern day campfire.
Waiting out the rain in a wall tent brings out the best and the worst in everyone.
Did you see that right there? That's good luck right there.
Right.
Five minutes later, we jumped them out.
Let's hope Bob's luck holds. The hunters wake to brilliant blue skies, and the hunt is back on. Bob Folkrod is hunting south central New Mexico with Dan Reyes of Ridgeline Outfitters. Yesterday, the hunters spotted a trophy bull in a heavily forested area, and finding the elk again in the open will be a challenge.
Bob Folkrod's Hunting Adventures is brought to you by these fine sponsors: Vortex, Best of the West Rifles, Huskama Long Range Optics, Kinetrek, Kufaru, and LJ Blessings Ranch.
The new Victor Chevrolet building is now open. Visit us at 7200 Pittsford Victor Road, Route 96 near Eastview Mall, or victorchevrolet.com.
Although Bob completed his obsession quest taking over 80 animals with a rifle, his first love has always been bow hunting. He's teamed up with longtime friend and archery coach Mike Price to help make you a better bow shot. This week's archery lesson is brought to you by Heritage Archery Academy and these great archery sponsors: Easton, Hoyt, Limb Saber, Gateway Feathers, and Tactical Hearing. Chains off to climb a tree stand. Here's what a little safety thing too. We're going to paint the ends of these for the last 2 notches. You can even go 3 if you want, but it's letting you know you're getting down to the end of the chain. Now when you start to pull that out and you start to get into the red, you know you have to go to the other side. Gonna do the same thing. Say, okay, I want to try to keep it in the center of the tree as much as possible. There. Now between the red on the ends and the red on in the center, you know just about where that chain is all the time. So to me, that's a safety feature at the same time. You know, something to think about. Safety first. Here's one thing people always ask when they see this stand: what is this? What is this? Well, you can find it over in your boat section of Bass Pro Shop. I believe it comes in 3s like this here in a package. Okay, and I'm not sure why it's in the fishing section. Maybe it's to wrap fishing poles up. But I turn around, put it on the front, the back, the sides, or whatever, you know, just like this here. Okay, let's say I'm going up a tree and I get a limb in my way. I cut it off. I don't throw it down on the ground. I lay the limb down, turn around, tie the limb with this stuff. Right to the tree stand. Now as I go up, I got that same limb I cut off, so when I get up there, I still look like a bunch of tree up there. That's one of the things that we do. Another little trick while we're letting this paint dry. This is my top section of my tree stand. Okay. Now I have one of those here. You can see that I've got a holder here. I've got a pull-up rope that I just continue as I'm going up. I hook my bow to the one. I've got a heavier rope that I carry in my pack. In fact, I will get it. So as I'm going up a tree, I got my bow on one side, I got my pack on the other side. Make all kinds of products. In fact, this one here is to hold your coffee cup or your thermos, and it's got a hanger where your thermos comes, so you can always put your coffee cup down if you're going to spend all day there. But they're High Point products. They make a lot of products for ground blind. In fact, the tip we did on the ground blind, they pop up all the holders and stuff in there. That's where you get them. And again, you know, Bass Pro sells all these things. Here's a little tip that you can do. Coat hooks that you put in at the house, you pick them up at any hardware. You know, this one happens to have a place for 2 screws, but it's got a big hole, square hole in the middle. And if you don't have one, you could drill it, okay? But you put that right in there like that, snap that over. Guess what? You got a place for your rangefinder, your binoculars, your grunt tubes, your coat, whatever. Put one on each side. Little tip like that, you know, little things like that's gonna help you be more comfortable in the tree stand.
Spotting elk on an opposite ridge is harder than it looks.
See that big dead tree right there?
Yeah, the one kind of in the center.
There's an elk. He just walked into them trees right there someplace.
Okay.
He's just going to the right of that tree right now. Boy, you got the wind wrong for this one.
Bob and Dan need to cover a vast amount of territory in a short period of time, and that adds up to some back-breaking effort.
The terrain that we're hunting here is part of New Mexico. Some parts can be very mountainous, a lot of deep canyons, real heavy timber. They need to be in shape, you know, when they get out here. A lot of these hunts are very strenuous.
Halfway around the ridge, the hunters spot their prey. So far, so good, but they better hurry. Finally, after hours of trekking the mountains, Bob and Dan reach their destination.
They're in the gully. They're in the gully right there. They're coming up the other side.
That's that palmated bull I've been seeing.
.285.
The bull is within range, but he's on the move. Dan tries to halt him with a cow call.
Yeah, wait, the wind's blowing. I had a hard time holding that. Woo! Good shot. That wind caught us up at the top, and they run down in that gully there. And I had a hard time with that. That had a real crosswind there coming into it there, and I was waiting for that crosswind to stop in there. Boom! Down he went, huh? You know, a guy don't know what to do in a situation when they're not bugling. Like we haven't heard a bugle yet, you know?
Right.
Rain was here and everything. We got rain coming in on us right now. So what does a guy do? I always say, never pass up an animal you shoot the last day on the first day.
Exactly.
This ain't the first day, but we took him anyway.
I mean, that was excellent.
Let's go look at him.
Shot.
All right. That old short mag does a number on things.
Oh, right. That was a heck of a shot.
You down, big boy? Oh, yeah. Look at that, Mr. Dan. I'll tell you what, that's exciting, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
The cows started running, you throw a glass, you see horns running through the trees, and they break down over, and we're trying to range him and judge him and everything, and I see a deal the other day that says, don't measure life on how many breaths you take in and out, but what takes your breath away. And when you're chasing elk like that, That's taking your breath away.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
I was real excited running after him and him coming up the other side of that drainage, and we got him stopped and just made a great shot on him.
Good hunt, Mr. Dan. Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Good hunt. Good hunt. You ever had a goal? Of course you had. When you was young, it was easy. Save up for that new bike, go on that first camping trip. Then as you got older, there was a car, going off to college, then a home, then sending your kids off to college. What if I only give you 5 years to live? What would you do with that? In my case, I had just lost my father, my greatest fan. I didn't have anybody to come back and tell stories to. My father had never been to those places. I'm sitting in there in my home living room looking at a Safari Club magazine. I had 55 animals in North America on that list. I said, that'd be a good goal to do. They break things down like the white-tailed deer more, and they break things like the muskox. There's 2 muskox at Greenland and the Barren Ground. There's more bears. So right now there's 55 animals on that quest from the Safari Club. I says, I might as well add to it and throw the big 6 in Africa. The World Slam of Turkeys. And even if it didn't happen, I can tell you one thing, I have seen some of the most prettiest places in the whole world, but it did happen. 275 to 300 days a year I spent on the road trying to accomplish 80-some animals.
Transportation for all of Bob Volkrod's hunting adventures is provided by Victor Chevrolet. Check them out at victorchevrolet.com.
Oh yeah! You made the good shot. You got that on video, right? So when we decided to go antelope hunting, we started asking around. Well, guess what? I'm sitting there watching Bass Pro Shop Outdoor World, and my team partner Jerry Martin was hunting antelope the year before with this guy called Murphy Love. I called Jerry up and I said, hey, can you get me in there with Murphy? So a few phone calls were made and we're headed to Wyoming. Gillette, Wyoming, where it's snowing. We're gonna go hunt some goats. So we're off to fill my rifle tag for my Obsession quest. Yeah, I got him. Yep. Well, being my expertise, antelope low crawling through the cactus and everything, I would say he's not as big as that one this morning. But he looks pretty nice. Yeah. Yeah, boy, you had him dead nuts, I'll tell you. Yeah.
What happened, Bob? Tell us the whole story.
Oh, yeah. It started off as soon as I got off the airplane. Gosh, we got this big old antelope spotted. He's been hanging around on this ranch, and he's right next to the property line, so I mean, he's really spooky, so we're gonna try to get up on him first thing in the morning before he gets up and starts running around. And while we're just starting to break the crap, oh, Murphy says, there he is, Barry, boy, he's backing the truck up. He says, well, crawl up here. He says, crawl right up the top. Of course, my buddy Kyle says, as soon as I can see him, I'm gonna set the camera up. That's why he didn't, you know, he sat way back because he didn't want to hear him laughing, you know. And I low crawled. He was 400 yards, so I took 50 yards off of him. Got up there, and I know better because it was a bad shot. All I can see is his neck.
Shoot him.
Huh?
Shoot him.
You know, all I could see was his neck, you know. Murphy says, don't let him get up. He'll be on the neighbor's property. And I go, nice shot.
High. You shot way, way high.
He says, oh, you shot a foot over him. Oh, I said, I couldn't have shot a foot over him. I'm a brand new 243. It seemed to work good on paper, but it certainly wasn't working good on this antelope laying down.
You're shooting way high.
You're saying it's high.
Yes, it's high.
That high?
You're hitting way up over his back.
This thing ain't shooting.
Low.
And then Kyle says, "No, you shot low." You know how many holes I put into that mounted antelope? I got him the first shot.
I think you shot twice, and then we convinced you were shooting high, so you started shooting low.
Don't shoot no more, please.
I have been had. My old buddy Jerry sitting there and I, geez, I got a brand new gun. I'm questioning the gun, telling me I'm shooting high, shooting low. And my buddy Jerry has done set me up. You know, I'm proud of him because I wish I'd have done that to him. I have done killed me an antelope. I can just take him home and put him on the wall.
Murphy loves hunting service. You don't even have to mount him. Just shoot him and put him on the wall.
That's it. But I will get even with all of you. The only thing that would have made this thing any funnier at all is if I'd have been pulling it on somebody else instead of them pulling it on me.
This segment has been brought to you by the Victor Chevrolet Deal of the Week. Check them out at victorchevrolet.com. Chevrolet.com. Find new roads.
Victor Chevrolet, same place I get my trucks from, and you should too.
You know, knowing something about this species, I don't know too much about it. All I know is you see lots of them when you're out there, and people kind of sometimes think they're fairly easy to shoot just because you do see them. Are they? Well, seeing them driving down the road and trying to get within range of one is difficult, especially if you're hunting with a bow.
We're headed to Sheridan, pick up an archery tag, see if we can figure out how to get close to one of these antelope with a bow. Look at that. We have got a new archery tag. I guess it don't make any difference whether you're hunting with a rifle or a bow. Maybe I should ask. Now would be a good time to ask since I haven't left here yet. Don't need it, even if I'm hunting with a bow now? Okay.
That's for the forest boring.
Okay.
That's just for the archery season.
Just to have, right? Good, thanks. You got that on video, right? Just in case they come to me and say, "Well, you need an archery license?" I go, "No, that pretty lady inside said I don't need one in rifle season."
And one part about this Obsession Quest is you make things happen. I mean, if you're on a sheep hunt, I mean, you're walking and climbing and glassing and looking, and there's very little downtime. Against my better judgment, Murphy convinced me to set up this ground blind. Next thing you know, here we are sitting in this blind, waiting for it to happen. Starting to get cramps from sitting in this chair. Let's see, where are we? I think we're in our third hour. Hasn't changed much, has it? Boy, this archery hunting's exciting, isn't it? You get a little, don't bother me at all. Anyway, finally, I couldn't stand it anymore, and I'm saying, let's get out of the blind and see if we can make this happen by spot and stock. That one pretty good buck in there. That one is limping, see? Yeah. Limping a little bit there. If they continue to follow that fence all the way up through, we'll be in good shape. Getting that little conversion ditch down there.
I'm gonna drive up on this and look down on it.
One of the unique things, I guess, was in Wyoming, it has a lot of draws and cuts, and and we looked out there and Murphy had seen these antelope. There was a pretty nice antelope in there, and he come up through and I don't know if he stepped in a hole or he had a little limp to him or whatever, but he seemed to be following this fence line up through and glassing it. It looked like this ravine would take us to him if he continued that path. So next thing we find ourselves in this ravine, and the wind picked up like the dickens, which was good for us because it hides the noise, and a lot of times they don't see that movement when everything is still. You can get away with little things that you normally couldn't get away with when it's still, and we needed all the help we could get. We was able to get up in there and get the rangefinder onto him, and and try that new bow out. Here we go. 53 yards. I mean, a nice shot. I mean, we aced him. He didn't run very far out. He ran out there maybe 20, 30 yards and tipped over. And guess what? We had one down with archery equipment. All right! He had kind of a sore foot or something there. He was hopping around, and that was a neat deal right there. For goodness sakes, look at that. That's a nice antelope. Look at that, how heavy he is on the bottom. Got nice cutters onto him. I mean, he's not quite as long as that one we low crawled through the cactus the first morning, but right there hunting antelope in Wyoming, doesn't get much better than that, isn't it? That's a beauty right there.
For help with all of your hunt booking needs, contact J&M Safaris at jnmsafaris.com. After your successful hunt of a lifetime, contact Wes Good at CanadiStudio.com for the finest taxidermy in the business. Be sure to follow Bob and all his adventures at bobfolkrod.com/TV and facebook.com/bfolkrod. And don't forget to hit the like button.